Hi there Airsoft and YouTubers, it's your weird Uncle Kenny again from his kitchen. Today's review is going to be two small reviews in one. We're going to be looking at pistols because I've been playing a lot of CQB recently. First up we're going to have the slightly older CZ-75 here, and follow it up with the brand new Walther P99. Okay, let's take a look at the CZ-75. Now, based on a very popular real gun, this is the CZ. The Czeska Zbrojovka, if you want to get technical. It's a blowback all metal gun. It feels very nice in the hand, nice chunky grip. Top's quite slim, quite small compared to other guns because of the way the slide slides inside the receiver rather than over it on other guns. So very nice, very slim. If you compare that to the 226 that I also own, there you go. If you can see, that's one's over, one's under, so one is a lot slimmer and lighter on the top, even though they're about the same width down below. So this is a much heavier gun. You'll also notice that very well built, rattles like maracas. This, however, cost twice the price of that. This was £134 or something, but you get what you pay for. This is quality. Let's give you a little demonstration. There we go. Now the gun has a nice hard kick to it. It shoots well, really quite accurate in CQB anyway, where I was using it. Great fun to use. It's got a decent magazine capacity as well. You're looking 20 plus rounds in the magazines. Magazines are quite expensive though, at about 34 quid each. They also have this rather thin metal tongue here, this aluminium part, this butt plate that goes on here. Quite thin, easily bent. You have to watch if you thump it down on anything or drop a magazine. You could bend that plate, so that's a weak point. Something you should know about. Also, I had some feeding issues with this. When I was swapping to the second or third magazine during a fight, I found that sometimes the spring wasn't powerful enough to return it the whole way, which was a pain. If I demonstrate. Now, if you've just emptied your mag, you're sitting like that, and you then go to release the mag, it should move all the way forward and load the BB. I found that sometimes it was sticking halfway like so. It wasn't loading properly because the spring in here that returns the slide isn't that brilliant. So I had to then clear the gun to get the BB out. BB falls out, put it back in, and then reload. So that was an issue. It happened a few times. I think, again, I'd say it's just that maybe the spring here isn't quite powerful enough. I don't know. Unless you're using it a lot, you won't notice that. I mean, that was in indoor CQB fighting with just pistols, so I was reloading quite a lot. In normal use, if it's just a backup weapon, if you're playing outdoors or anything like that, then you're not really going to be noticing that much. What else can we say? The controls as well for the slide. If you look here, it's over here, and you've got this safety catch in the way. So when you're using it, I can't get my thumb to that. I can't reach that catch because of the safety catch. I can't release that slide with one finger. If you're not using it this style, then it's easy enough to reach with the other thumb. But the SIG that I own, the nice little SIG there, all the controls are easily reached with your right thumb. So maybe not as ergonomic in that sense as other guns. But as I say, in use, feels very nice, shoots very nice. Nice hard kick to it, well built, very well built, like it, but maybe spring, maybe not as powerful as you'd like. Now it is a blowback gun, so power won't be massive, but it will depend on what gas you put in it, and indoors and warmer areas it'll be great, it'll be fine, you'll have no problems. Outdoors, maybe another matter. So there you go. I mean, a pistol outdoors, it's for fighting your way back to the gun you should never have left in the first place. That's the normal philosophy for a pistol, so remember that. But indoor CQB, this proved its worth. It was very good to use, nice fun, occasional problem reloading, but it made it all the more fun actually just cycling the thing to get it cleared. So I enjoyed using it. So there you go, that's the CZ-75 all metal blowback gun, about £130 from your local provider. Okay, now if we compare that to the similarly priced non-blowback Maruzen Walther P99. Let me just open this up for you. Now pay attention, Bond. One non-blowback Walther P99. One 25 round magazine. One silencer with the Walther markings on it as well. So let's put this together. The Walther is actually just all polymer. It's metal innards obviously, but it's mainly polymer. So it's a fair bit lighter than the likes of the CZ and easily half the weight of this monster. So it's lightweight. You may feel you're getting a bit cheaty there, you want something hefty, but honestly after a while you want lightweight. If you use a leg holster, something strapped to your thigh, anything like that, this is usable. It won't tire you out, it won't pull your trousers down. Ideal. Also, it just sounds brilliant. And you look cool putting that on. And here we go. I love that, I really do. It's non-blowback, so it's a lot more powerful than the likes of the blowback guns. Blowback guns are using half the gas to throw that thing back and the other half to throw the ball out. This, all the gas, all the ball, all the distance. These things will shoot normally at about 330 feet a second. Very similar to your normal rifles. Accuracy isn't bad either. And you can adjust a hop up from here with a little jeweler's screwdriver without having to take the gun to bits or pull anything open. Some of the guns I've seen you actually have to slide it open and then get in there with a little Allen key and all the rest of it, so it's no more fiddly than anything else. Obviously you don't get to play with any slides or releases or anything like that, so it's not as much fun to sit around and play with, but power wise you cannot whack it. This has sort of replaced the SOCOM on our site. Everybody used to run about with a huge big USP SOCOM with a silencer because it was very powerful and it looked quite good. It was as powerful as a rifle. This is probably 2/3 the size and weight and does exactly the same job for the same money. Looks cool, very powerful, quiet, easy to carry around, and obviously in Scotland, where we are right now, weather is a factor. Gas blowback guns perform horribly in bad weather and cold weather. The warmer the gas gun is, the better it will perform because the gas expands more. And it takes longer for things to freeze up as the gas goes. So a non-blowback gun in Scotland will work a lot better and for longer than a blowback. Doesn't look as cool, but for practicality, this is the gun you want over something like the CZ. If you're playing indoor CQB, and I've played a few recently, then it's 50-50. It doesn't really matter, you can have the fun with the blowback. But for practicality, for the same money, you get this and the hard case, and the silencer. It's hard to beat. It's very easy to use, accurate, powerful, and see the magazine holds 26 rounds, something like that. It's very easy to use. The only issues I've found so far are occasionally the safety catch will go on. The safety catch is a simple block that moves left and right with a little click and stops the trigger from being pulled back. And the magazine release, or rather the magazine catch, there's nothing in it. There's very little between caught and not caught. It's hard to say. So you have to make sure that magazine's in there and it's not going to come out in a hurry. Fine. So as long as you get the click, you're okay. So watch that if you get one. Magazines again, quite expensive, 35 quid for another magazine. I'll have to get a couple. But one plus point with the mags, because it's a non-blowback and because the way this gun works, they're a lot easier to load because there's just basically a hole here which will easily take a BB. You can take a handful of BBs and almost drop them in, or feed them in one at a time with a pistol speed loader, and it works a lot better than normal pistol speed loaders which send balls everywhere trying to squeeze them in through the gap. The reason there's quite a big hole here is because this gun actually pulls the innards back onto the magazine. If you imagine the tube getting pulled back into the magazine over the BB and pressing a valve and it fires. Now it's novel, but what it also means is this thing's got a trigger pull about 2 feet long. Whereas things like that, you just touch it and it goes off. With this you're pulling that whole distance to get a shot off. As long as you're aware of it, it's no great issue. The gun works just as well, but it is a long trigger pull. Takes a little bit of getting used to. But as I say, this is the weapon of choice right now, and this is what I'll be using on the CQB on Sunday, doing my best James Bond impressions. So there. That's all from your weird Uncle Kenny right now. I'll be seeing you guys later. Bye.